Hi, welcome to Help with Hannah Jones. I'm Hannah Jones. Thank you, Patreon patrons, for making this podcast possible. And thanks to IDK Studios in Denver, where we are recording. This is a podcast where I answer your questions, Dear Abby style. And I have a guest in the studio today to help me do that. She's the host of the Almond Pod. And you might have seen her viral comedy videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's Tyler Benderr.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
I'm excited to be here and answer all of these questions.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I've seen so many of your comedy videos over like the past couple of months and stuff. But today specifically, I was watching a Q&A video where you talked about getting body shamed when you did dance.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally, that was my same like almond child origin story was ballet.
Stop. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It was like always the fucking dance teacher. Yeah. Always the cheer teacher. Sweetie, it's not that you're just bigger than the rest of the girls.
They do. It is like weird psychological warfare because I remember for like a really long time I would tell this like specific story where and for a long time I like didn't think of it as a mean story. I was like, actually my dance teacher was being really nice. Unfortunately, I was just like the most gigantic toddler on the planet, but my dance teacher was so nice about it. But one day in class, we were all doing like jumping stuff and she was like screaming at us for being too loud. And I was like, that's so normal, actually. But she would just like scream at us when we weren't good enough. And she was screaming at all the other girls. And she's like, you guys are all loud. Hannah's not loud. Look at Hannah. She's incredibly light on her feet. And she's like 3 times the size of you.
Oh, I can like imagine exactly how that went down too. Like having done dance, I'm like,
and in the moment I was like, thank you. And it took like several years for me to like really absorb the fact that like, first of all, I like wasn't 3 times the size of them. I was just like a chubbier built child, but oh my God, then it sticks with you forever.
That's wild. Yeah, that shit sticks with you forever. My tumbling teacher was like, went through the line of like spotting girls on like their whatever the fuck tricks, gets to me, ooh, sweetie, you're too big to spot anymore. Let's just skip out on this one.
I thought they were gonna be like, why don't just break your neck? It's fine.
Just try it by yourself, because that's a big bitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
if you can't spot a hefty child, like maybe you need to do your own push-ups. Like
for real. Like don't have a beginner, like whatever that age category is if you can't do it. I'm like, ooh.
I do remember also I did like 1 year of gymnastics because you don't understand as a child like physical limitations, which is good, right? That's very wholesome. Like nowadays I see rock climbing and I'm like, not for me, you know? But when I was a child, I was like, gymnastics, I totally have the body type for that. I'm a girl. So I like did one like class of gymnastics that was like probably like 4 months long, and I remember when we get to the bar section and they like have to lift you up to the bar, and I'm like probably the same weight as the like instructor but like much like shorter and rounder, and she's like grunting lifting me up, but she never body shamed me at all.
Slay.
Yeah, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna lift this girl up. Like, I'm gonna get my workout in during this class. She was
either
really nice about
really
it.
Tough, or she had her own trauma to know not to say that shit.
Oh, quite possibly. But yeah, so my sister, the way I ended up stopping dance is that my sister had done ballet, and she was like a teenager at the time. She was probably like 17 and had started getting body shamed by the same teacher. It was like one lady had a whole studio by the same teacher, and then all of the other teenage girls in that class. Even though my sister was like extremely skinny, she just like had a little bit of a butt. She just like had a better body type. Oh my gosh.
Also,
by today's standards.
So triggering to be in ballet because all of it is like your tummy's out, your butt's out, and then I was like, literally, I was like, ma'am, I just am packing ass. Like, I'm sorry. I just am not built for this.
Yeah. But so my sister quit,
That's
and I remember
crazy.
riding in the car, and I was like, oh my God, like, why are you quitting ballet? And my sister was the skinny one of like us two, and I was very jealous of her for that. And she's like, because I'm too fat for ballet. And I was like, well, if you're too fat for ballet, I'll quit tomorrow.
And did you?
Yeah.
You literally did. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not gonna wait until it like makes me cry, and I'm getting body shamed
That's
all the
good
time.
foresight as a little kid. Wow.
Well, it just felt like my sister took the bullet, and I got to look at her taking the bullet and be like, I think there's guns over there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Period.
A lot of having an older sibling is just like that.
Well, I am the older sibling. And you know what happened in my situation? My little sister started doing the classes with me at 3 years old. And I'm swear to fucking God, she was like a prodigy at tumbling. And she surpassed me and became like the top gymnast in our gym. And I got body shamed out of it.
Oh, no.
Like so opposite. Being the older sibling, you know?
I think being an older sibling would be so hard.
Yeah, we should get like some sort of medal.
Because as a younger sibling, that thing already exists, and you can either like beat it or avoid the fuck out of it. So if my sister was like better at something, I would just avoid the fuck out of it.
Oh, that's
but
smart.
if it was something that I was also naturally excelling at, I'd be like, I'd do that too.
And then be better.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never
So
heard
like
it
the
explained.
competition, like you can really manage. Did you ever do that as a kid? If I ever had a friend who like was naturally good at something, or just had like a facet of their identity, if I couldn't beat them at it, I had like a very keen sense of like, I am not playing that game. I am doing a different thing. Like, I was always the smart one until I made a couple of friends in high school who were definitely smarter than me. And I was just like, I'm not smart, I'm funny. That's not my thing. I was never trying to be smart.
Yeah.
If you think you caught me reading, no, I've never read a book in my life.
But I am funny.
Yeah.
But I am funny. Period. Actually, that's so true.
Did you do that with your like friend dynamics growing up?
Yeah, and I would get anxious. Like I decided like I did theater, and I would get really anxious if my friends were like, I think I'm gonna try out for the play, and I was like,
yes.
no, it's really toxic, and you don't want to. It's like a lot of work. Like you probably don't want to do it. Like,
you definitely don't. It's so toxic.
Like
I'm
I
the toxic
hate
one.
it. I hate theater. Please don't
Yeah.
try out for the fall play.
But I also think it's like,
I gate kept hard.
yeah, well, I also just like, there were a lot of facets of my identity that I just like was so closed off to exploring because I was like, I can't be caught trying to do anything I'm not the best at. So like for me, it was like I was very avoidant of being like feminine or like trying to like I did not like have crushes or like boys or anything because my two friends were like the pretty ones. And now it's like you can actually just be not the prettiest one and still go about and have a normal life. But in my mind, it was like you can't like try to be pretty if you're not going to be the prettiest one.
Isn't that wild? You're deconstructing the world like that when you're like 9 years old.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, my theory, not to get so fucking conspiracy on you, but
okay.
I kind of believe that like that idea comes about specifically for children, that like the only reason to try at something is if you're going to be the best, because we grow up in capitalism and we see like homelessness and like all these people in society who aren't taken care of. And we're like trying to make sense of the fact that like as a human being, you don't have the right to healthcare and you don't have the right to like a good life. And we're trying to make sense of it and be like, oh, well, I guess they didn't deserve it because they weren't good enough at like having a job. So like you have to be better than average to like deserve a good life. And then we just like carry that into all of our little extracurriculars. You're like, I have to be the best at this thing to have any deserving of like love or a good life later on down the road.
Oh my God. That's a huge You know, I think I just really liked movies. I wanted to be like them.
You know what? Fair enough. But yeah, how have you been? What have you been up to? Incredible segue.
I'm doing well, except for on my YouTube channel, I'm trying to do like an expose on the carnivore diet. I've like interviewed people on it, and I'm on day 5 of being on it. So my insides are like just like entangled. I was 15 minutes late because I was like praying, clutching my ankles. So like, other than that, I'm good.
Clutching your ankles?
Yeah.
Are you like pooping in happy baby pose or?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so clarify for me, what is the carnivore diet specifically?
So it's only things that come from an animal. So it's like dairy, meat, and even like cheese is iffy. You have to like look for like I think it's like low carb things, because even like some cheeses will have like a gram of carbs and they're like no. So yeah,
So it's like keto.
Yeah, and it's even crazy that like chicken is kind of looked down on even on the carnivore diet. So
Why?
basically I've just been eating like ground beef and steak and bacon. It sucks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know how people like live like this all the time and are like, this is the way. This is the way.
Have you ever met anyone who's done it like really long term? Because
Yeah.
I feel like every time I see, like, what's the Janelle girl on TikTok did it for like
yeah,
a few
she's
months, but like
peddled
now
that
she eats
shit.
normal again.
Well, even keto's more flexible than carnivore is.
Really?
Yeah, because keto is basically just like low carb lifestyle. So you can throw in, I think, like some vegetables and like berries, versus carnivore is like none. Like even like seasoning is frowned upon. No condiments.
No coffee?
Technically no. I text my girl. I met this girl named like Courtney, who's like kind of a thought leader in the space. we had a we had a meeting, and she's like, "I've been on it for a year. I've lost
A carnivore
so much
organizer.
weight." Carnivore organizer. She's been on it for like over a year, and she's like, "This is it. This is the way. I love it. I've lost weight." I'm
And
like,
were her eyes glassy?
mine are. And just like, just sitting here, it's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, when am I gonna be hit by needing to go to the bathroom again? I'm scared. I hope we can make it through the show.
Dude.
Maybe that's what she was thinking on her interview with me.
I
don't
could
know.
never.
I don't know, but there are people who swear by it. Not fucking me. Not
I
me.
feel like anytime I have ground beef at all, it fucks me up.
Yeah. Yeah, bad choice, but
I can't believe chicken is looked down on. Why is that?
it's supposed to be like the red meats are just have more nutrients. They're like more filling, so they want you to be more on red meat, because like, I don't know, like chicken, you eat it and you're hungry again. There's
Is
like
it, like-
tiers.
You know how you said like people like die for it? I wonder if it's like survivor bias that like everybody who could be like, I did this for 3 years and it ruined my life, just like has a heart attack.
Okay, so the best thing I did was I joined the Facebook groups of people in it.
God.
And the Facebook groups, so fucking funny. It's just people complaining about like, I've been on this diet for 4 days and I have horrible diarrhea. Should I stop? I'm also
Yes.
dizzy. Everybody in the comments, no, that's just the side effects of a
just
detox. You're
No.
just getting all the carbs out of your body.
Getting all the carbs out of your body.
Even I posted on Instagram stories, I was like, I want to diet, and everybody was like, don't stop. That means you need to keep going.
You're just detoxing.
You're
the
just getting into
suicidal thoughts.
ketosis. They're like, keep going, keep going. I was like, fuck, this sucks. So anyway, how are you doing?
That's so crazy. That feels like the high that they're talking about after all of this is just like being in starvation. Like, I don't know if you've ever, not to get so dark, but like I've had like eating disorder periods before. And there is that thing where like once you fight through the hunger, it actually feels so good. You have so much energy because you get like a weird high from it. And I know watching all of the like YouTubers, I used to watch this like raw vegan bitch on YouTube.
Freely
back
the
in
banana
day.
girl?
No, not Freely. It was like this other girl.
Okay.
She had white dreads for a little while, but then she shaved her dreads out. But she would always talk about how like after the initial period of eating like raw, you would like have so much energy and feel so good and feel in such alignment with the universe. And I was like, yes, I know that feeling. It's being about to die, dude.
I think I kind of got on that like 2 days ago when I was hanging out with the dog. I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I'm not even thinking about food. Like, I feel like whatever. And then the next day I didn't walk. So
I feel like if I was only eating ground beef and steak, I would definitely like not be thinking about or craving food.
I'm like, when is my next meal? Fuck.
Oh my God. Well, more power to you. That's going to be an incredible YouTube video, or I guess it like has to be.
Yeah, you
to, like,
motherfuckers
feel.
better watch it.
Yeah. Especially all the people on Facebook who are telling you to keep going.
I was like, should I vaccinate my kids? Yes or no? Causing problems. I'm surprised I'm not like kicked out of the group yet. So I might go out with a bang just to like make it worth my while.
That's so good. Okay, are you ready to get into some questions?
Ooh, yeah. I'm clearly the one who should be advising people's life advice.
Absolutely. She can't tell you too much, but she can tell you how to get into ketosis. Okay, before we get into that, a couple of announcements. Number one, I have shows coming up. September 21st, I'm headlining in San Francisco. There's only like 2 or 3 tickets left for that show. Please sell it out. It would be so embarrassing if those 2 or 3 tickets were sitting around for like another week. Just sell it out so I can put a sold out sticker on it, because I never get to do that, and that would be really exciting. Chicago, tons of tickets left for that. Please buy your Chicago tickets October 6th. Austin, November 4th. I don't have the link for that yet, but I do for Des Moines, November 11th. You can find all ticket links in the link tree in my bio. Number 2, this podcast is sponsored by the Patreon. Patrons have first priority to get their questions answered, and they also receive a bonus episode every month, and it's only $3, which is nothing. You could not purchase a single beef product for $3, maybe a couple eggs, okay? So it's worth it. You also get exclusive access to long-form audio and video of my comedy sets. 3, if you want to ask a question to get answered in a future episode, you can find the link to that form in the description of the podcast or in my link tree. Okay.
Slay.
I talked so
amazing.
Fast for that part.
That was so impressive.
Thank you so much. I've gotten a lot of practice. I really take pride in it. Okay, so I asked you guys to submit some questions about like having an almond mom, or in my case, I have an almond dad, and like body image and stuff. So our first few questions are in that vein. Number 1. How to get my mom to stop offering me plain Greek yogurt when I express a desire for ice cream. Signed, Masshole.
This is funny because I've experienced, I can relate. This has happened to me.
No, seriously?
Yeah. Or it's like, even my mother-in-law said this. She was like, this is the same. It tastes exactly the same, you guys.
Kill me.
It's exactly the same.
The thing is that, like, I am a protein bitch, to be completely honest, and I have to keep an eye on my carbs because they don't make me feel good usually if I'm, like, eating way too much carb-heavy food and not getting enough protein. So I won't say that I'm, like, totally, like, I just eat whatever I want all the time, but, like, I would use plain Greek yogurt as a substitute for like sour cream because it's a little higher in protein and the macros can be better in like a vegan queso situation, quite possibly, but never as a substitute for ice cream.
Yeah, that's just I don't know. This is weird that it's like reoccurring too. Like how often? I don't know. I feel like you just cut her out of the equation. I'm assuming, can you drive? Can you just go get your own? It's secret eater. That's me. I'm secret eater.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to be always. Did you ever hide your wrapper underneath other trash in the trash
Yes!
can?
You take a bunch of
like
paper
it's a tampon
towels
or something.
and then you... Oh my God. I didn't even do that when I was like babysitting other people's kids. I would like steal all their like, what are those like cones? Those, what are they? They come with like the big chunk of chocolate at the bottom. Drumsticks.
Yes.
Drumsticks. I would eat like 4
so
drumsticks. Good. Wrappers, paper towel.
I would also, if I was eating like for instance, for that situation where like the serving size is 1, but you're gonna have more than fucking 1, like fruit snacks.
Oh,
I would put 1 fruit snacks wrapper above the paper towels. I'm like 4 fruit snack wrappers underneath the paper towels to be like, see, I did eat some fruit snacks. I'm not weird. I'm just moderation is key.
They told me just 1.
Uh-huh.
Man, I don't know what you're gonna do about that. At my house, if I'm gonna eat Greek yogurt, I have Utah Girl syrups. So I just put those skinny syrups in there.
Dude,
so I can pretend. I'm delusional.
I will say that, like, Greek yogurt is not a bad snack, but if you want ice cream, you have to go get ice cream, and you have to look at your mom as, like, a child that is, like it's like your child accidentally went down an alt-right YouTube.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And you're like, oh, I have to like fix this. Unfortunately, this child lives in my house. They're my responsibility. Your parents, I mean, there always comes a point. The part of the parent-child relationship is that it switches. Halfway through your life, you become the parent. And unfortunately, for a lot of us with boomer parents, that switch is going to happen early on. So it should have happened when you were like 35, but unfortunately, you're 20 and it's time to make the switch. They're your child. And you are going to tell them, no, I'm going to have some ice cream. And I really think you should have some ice cream as well. This is an insane thing to say. And, yeah.
That was beautiful.
But I will say that, like with a child, you can really temper that message with, like, a little bit of baby voice. You could be like, that is such a silly thing to say. I'm going to have some very yummy ice cream for my belly because my belly would like it.
Hey, special mama.
Yeah.
My fitness pal says that we can go to Dairy Queen and we won't die. Nobody will die. Nobody will die.
No, my friend. You're not going to make me feel bad about what I'm eating.
We're getting extra fudge and we're not going to cry about it.
Yeah. Put her in timeout, dude. Put your mom in timeout.
We should make shirts that say that.
Yeah, that is such a tough one. But I really think that, like, the thing about drawing a hard boundary with a parent is that it is just as uncomfortable as you're imagining it will be when you do that. But the sooner you do that, the more years you get to live where it's in the past. Like, my comedy is pretty, like, R-rated. I talk a lot about, like, gender politics through the lens of sex and dating. And my mom saw it early on. She's a conservative Christian woman. I was raised in a fundamentalist household. It's nothing that I would have ever wanted her to see, and I definitely considered hiding it from her. But she saw it. And then, like, I've been doing comedy for, like, 5 years now. And so the past 4... she's just been like, okay, this is what my kid does.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. I think put it behind you as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
My mom and I went on ABC News and spoke about how we both have eating disorders together. That's behind us now. Fucked up in the moment, but it ended up working out just fine.
Yeah. Be brave. We believe in you.
Period.
Okay. Question number 2, game plan for getting through Thanksgiving with an almond mom. I stay at my parents' house and it's an ingredients household. Normally, I'm always hungry in addition to / between meals, but I just figure it out. The problem is if I go get extra food on Thanksgiving, my mom is like, oh my God, how are you not stuffed? Like, I'm not stuffed because I had lean turkey breast, green beans, and sugar-free pumpkin pie for dinner. Something about it being a holiday where food is the focal point means I can't hide or avoid these conversations, and it's exhausting. What do I do? Signed, Spanksgiving.
Spanksgiving's so clever.
Thank you.
That's so good. That sucks. That sucks. Especially because it would be like one thing if I'm like, okay, the food is good. You can get a serving, feel good about it, deal with it. But it sounds like the food's not even worth the trauma. And that's what's sad here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, now this isn't good advice, but this is what I would do if I were you. I would pregame beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm eating right before. I'm getting KFC. That's close enough to Thanksgiving dinner. Then I'm going to get there and I'm going to eat like a rude amount of nothing. Like so little that your mom gets pissed. She's like, did she fucking out almond mom
than your
than
mom?
Me? I'd be like, I'm really full.
You're like, how can you eat all that? With a judgy little look on your eyes.
Flip it.
Stop. Wait, I want to
like,
see this
save
play out
some
in
for
person.
the rest of us.
Oh
Goodness.
my God.
Seconds. Are you starving? Are you starving her? Flip it on her.
That's so funny.
You gotta flip it.
That's the most incredible. I will say that, like, when I go home, I don't have an almond mom. She's like so sweet and kind and never shames anybody for their body.
That's great.
But she does like not eat as much as me at all. Yeah. I'm a protein bitch. I like need that. She'll have like sausage and veggies, and the sausage is like 15 grams of protein. I'm pre-gaming and post-gaming every meal with protein bars. I just like eat a fuck ton of them while I'm there. And that's definitely an easy meal to sneaky eat.
True.
Because, like, going to KFC, you would have to, like, lie and say that you're, like, going, and it's on Thanksgiving, right?
That's true. Protein bars are my sneaky meal, actually, because I hate other people's food. It just gives me the ick. Yeah. So I keep protein bars in my purse at all times. That's genius.
In this specific case, it sounds like you're an adult, you've moved out, and you're just visiting, and you don't necessarily, like, for the first one, we were like, fight the battle, set the boundary. For this one, I totally understand if you're only going to see her, like, once or twice a year, and you just want to keep it peaceful. Then, in this case, just sneaky.
Just sneaky. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we're going with.
And also just, like, the turkey is what's going to fill you up.
The lean turkey.
Because all of that, like, empty shit that they serve
so fun
in
though.
Thanksgiving
I don't
meals
know.
when you make it like a diet form, like a sugar-free Jell-O. It's like, think of that as like basically a beverage. Sugar-free pumpkin pie is basically a beverage. It is not going to fill you up at all.
You know what? I just hope that you get a significant other who has really good Thanksgiving food, so you get to experience that.
Yeah, and have your Friendsgiving and have a real
That's
fucking
sweet.
feast, because you deserve it.
Grub down.
You can kind of just think of it as like a woke Thanksgiving, because you're like really like, because you're like not eating enough, you're like starved the way the like colonial people like hoarded food from indigenous populations, you know?
Wow, that's so much more meaningful. Let's get back to the true meaning of this day.
The true meaning of Thanksgiving is feeling persecuted and hungry. So that will be kind of a nice homage, and you can have like a more fun Thanksgiving where you celebrate community elsewhere. I will say that, like, know when you're going to stand up to your parents, and it's worth it because you have a lot of years left and you want to make them better. And know when you're just going to pick your battles and you're just going to wait it out. Like, there are definitely battles that I'm just going to wait out with older people.
Oh, yeah. I'm non-confrontational, and I will not pick a fight over just about anything. I'll just ignore it till it goes away. So as you hear my advice on this episode, keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Next question. A lot of body positivity content is centered around loving your body because of all the things it does for you, like walking, running, enjoying life, etc. I have a chronic illness, endometriosis, and PCOS, so this rhetoric never really resonated with me. Any body positivity advice that isn't centered around activity/things your meat sack can do for you? ? Signed, Randy Baby.
Okay, actually, this is awkward because usually that's what I tell people. I'm like, just love it for that it gets you from point A to point B. It does so much stuff. You just like live in it. So this is kind of awkward for me. But however, I do think body positivity puts so much unnecessary pressure onto us to be like, yes, bitch, I love my body. I love everything. Everything's good. I'm slaying every day. And for me, sometimes that's just like so overwhelming. So sometimes I just like don't think about it. Like, I just don't want to look in the mirror. Like, I just focus on other shit. So that's probably not body positive. That's probably more like body neutral. So maybe look into the body neutrality movement, because those people are actually so sick. They're like, they just give you tips on like just
They're so
not
sick.
giving
They
a fuck.
all have chronic illnesses.
So sorry about that, girl. So sorry that that's the situation.
Yeah.
But look into body neutrality, because those bitches like just really teach you how to not give a fuck at all.
I feel like this is one of the things that we've noticed about body positivity and why it feels like a little dated and cringe these days. But I will say, I used to have this bit where it's like, everyone wants you to, like, especially as a woman, they're like, you have to love your body. And I think we have to redefine love, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I, like, love my body. Like, I love my body like you love, like, a kid sibling, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like my body, but I, like, love my body, you know? Like, I'll fight for it. I'll take care of it, but I don't, like, love, you know? It's like, I used to say, like, I love my body the way you love your first car. Like, I love my body. So many memories. It's mine, you know? But it's also like, I'm not going to wash it every day. You know? I'm not going to wax it.
You could duct tape up the bumper.
Yeah. Duct tape the bumper.
I'm not getting those seats detailed.
Absolutely not. I love my body is a 2010 Honda Civic. You know, it's going to run forever, and I'm going to give it oil changes so it does run forever. But I'm not going to, like, show it off the way that you're I'm not going to be like, wipe your feet before you get in. I would say that, like, yeah, think about what love actually means, because it's also just like, love isn't like that in real life. Like, your friends who you love and your partners who you love, like, when you really get to love, there's like a solid amount of like eye roll associated with like I love this bitch. Don't you say a mean thing about her, but at the same time, like, this bitch, you know?
I get what you're
like, I
saying.
will like shout at her for sure.
Yeah, it's like how you can't say anything bad, but I can say something bad.
Yeah.
I think that's solid advice. Hopefully you take that home with you, girl.
Yeah. Love your body in a mean way. Okay. So now we have some regular non-almond questions that are not necessarily about that stuff. First of all, thoughts or advice on feeling insecure that my boyfriend, quote, has/had a type, end quote, but I don't fit any of it. And thoughts on if you should be the most beautiful person to your significant other. Is that unrealistic?
What's your take on this? That's a hard question.
I think it is unrealistic for you to be the most beautiful person in the world to your significant other, assuming that we're like using beautiful to refer to like just like looking at a picture and being like hot. But I think that you get to decide whether or not it's a priority for you to be in a relationship where you play. like whenever I'm in a relationship, I know that they're not looking at me like that's the hottest girl in the world, but like you are going to say you are going to say that is the hottest girl in the world because I picked her. Like, I have decided that that's a priority for me. And like, I had a boyfriend who I would like always ask him what his celebrity crush was, and he was so well trained. This man was so cooked. He would just like only say celebrities that were like older and looked kind of weird. Like he would celebrity crush, Kate Bush, absolutely. Laura Dern, he like fucking loves Laura Dern, and I'm just like, perfect. This man knows exactly what's up. So I would say that beauty has a different meaning the deeper you get into a relationship, because when you like really love someone, you look at them and you're like, that's the hottest person in the world. But also, hot has such a different meaning to me now than it once did.
That's so
and I
true.
don't know if the first time I saw them I thought they were the hottest person in the world. What I will say is that it's a boyfriend, and one of the kind of comforting things about when you date men is that men are just like find you hot or they don't find you hot, and there's very little like she's hot but this other girl's like a little bit hotter. It's very much a yes or no kind of situation. Yeah. And everything beyond that has to do with your personality and your vibe and your dynamic between the two of you. So if your boyfriend's dating you, just trust that he likes you. But you can be like, it doesn't make me happy the way you talk about me. I want you to talk about me from a more like respectful type
if
of
he
way.
doesn't make you feel like you're the most beautiful girl in the world, throw him out, leave him.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of like a thing where you're just sitting there like overanalyzing everything he's saying and everything he's doing, and you're like, well, I'm not the past type, I haven't done this right, I think that I don't look like Margot Robbie, but Margot Robbie's his type, what am I supposed to then that's a you problem. And so you just have to identify which one it is. You have to figure out which one it is and then fix it. That's what I think.
And I think that if you're just looking at his exes, and it's not like if it's not words that he said to you, but you're just like looking at his exes and you're like, fuck, these girls like all look the same. Or you might be a dude, I don't know. You're just like, these people all look the same, but I don't look like them. I would say like, don't read into that.
Yeah, I think stand out, baby. Shine.
Because I don't have a type, but I have only had 2 boyfriends in my life, and both of them currently have a mullet. So it's like, I don't have a type, and I wouldn't consider that a type, but something about...
Okay, wait. But that's just like, in general, all guys that date bi women.
You're right.
Does he have a mustache too?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But yeah, so 2 of 2,
mullet.
is that a type? That's the thing too, is that like, let's say that like this guy grew up in the South and he dated a lot of like tiny blonde balayage bitches, and it's like, you're like, oh, I'm not that like body type or hair type or anything. It's like, well, that's just what was around him. He might have, if you grew up around him, he might have dated girls who looked like you as well.
Yeah, and also if you ever break up, you'll stand out in the lineup, and that's
Absolutely.
pretty stellar.
Yeah.
You're born to stand out, not fit in.
I would say that, like, if I looked at a lineup of my partner's exes and they all looked the same as me, I would be like, that would like knock
would
my
weird me out.
self-esteem. But that's because a big part of my identity is that, like, I don't necessarily look like other people. Like, the only people that I get comparisons to are, like, old celebrities who look kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, whereas me, I would see a lineup of like brunette girls and I'd be like, oh, he's from Utah. Okay, cool. Wow, he went to the Bible Belt and found
I associate
somebody.
Utah with blondes. Is it
That's
brunette
true.
now?
I'm like a Utah 4. So maybe Bible Belt's more accurate. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. Michigan? Where? I don't know. Where are they plain and brunette? That's where you find a lineup of me.
I don't think that's true at all. What happened to the body positivity?
I told you I'm body neutral.
Fair enough.
I love it like an annoying fucking sibling.
Okay. Thoughts on if you should be the most beautiful person to your significant other. I think that you should feel that way if you want to feel that way, and he should be talking. It's not that hard to like say the right things. And if a guy is like, I can't put in effort to say the right things, then he's just like not smart enough. Just be like, oh my God, like you're not capable and smart. It's like you put in effort at a job to email with corporate jargon. Why can't you do the same thing with your girlfriend? Use girlfriend jargon. Make your girlfriend sound and feel like the most beautiful girl in the world.
I was thinking of what to say to that because I was like, I think even if I put like gun to head on Mitchell, he'd be like too scared to like say the truth. I like that's a good boyfriend.
Yeah. Absolutely. I will like yeah, it's not there are some bitches out there who like don't care. They're like, "No, I want my boyfriend to say the truth." And then I'm like one of the prettier girls he's met, but like definitely not the most beautiful one, and that's totally cool. You sound cool as fuck. But the vast majority of women want their boyfriend to verbally speak as if she was the most beautiful girl in the world. And if a guy is like extremely against
He's like,
putting in that effort,
you want me to lie?
That says everything you need to know about that guy.
That's so bad, and I know exactly the type of guy that is. I had a boyfriend that once like grabbed me by the hand and was like, I just can't believe I met you. You're like a solid, maybe like close to a 9 out of 10. Who the fuck says that? Like, I'm like honest if I had to put a number on it. Why are we putting a number on it?
Yes, I never held a gun to your head and was like, put a number on my attractiveness. No,
Never said that. So funny.
My ex would like lie so handily. He would be like, yeah, I want to go see the Barbie movie to like see Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie, am I right? And I'm like, you like Margot Robbie? And he's like, yeah, she's probably the most beautiful woman beside you. like he is like that good at it. That's because he's like smart. He's a smart guy.
Good. You want that.
He can memorize a comedy set and he can memorize the words to say to treat your girlfriend nice. And if a guy can't do that, he's dumb. And just tell him to his face. It's not because you like don't want to lie. It's not because you're like too authentic and fucking hard. It's because you're fucking dumb. Sorry you're not smart enough to have a girlfriend, but let's see how this goes for you for the rest of your fucking life. And
guys, get fucking smart.
Guys will put in a lot of fucking effort for a woman that they like really don't want to slip through their fingers. And so if you're asking a guy to put in effort and his response is a no, out.
Wow. Your mind is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're like the answers to these are amazing.
Thank you. Okay. This is our last question. I picked a longer, kind of juicier one.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a story. Strap in. I met this amazing girl at a party through some friends. We hit it off immediately and went on a few amazing dates. A concert, art festival, home-cooked dinner. Then she told me she had HSV too. Herpes, that's genital herpes. We hadn't had sex at that point, and I tried to be cool about it since I had a prior experience where I kind of freaked out and thought a girl had given me HSV1. That's just cold sores. No one had given me HSV1, and I didn't want to make the same mistake. One morning, I couldn't resist the urge, and we used a condom. A few days after that, I started feeling what I thought were early HSV2 symptoms. One morning, the pain I was feeling in and around my dick was really prevalent, and I had sent 3 or 4 messages just saying that what I was up to and that she hadn't responded to about 2 days, and I was highly caffeinated and driving back from the mountains, so I sent her a voice message asking if she was ghosting me and that I was concerned about HSV2, but she replied and said she wasn't ghosting me, she was just in the mountains without service. I immediately regretted sending the voice message and tried to recover, but the vibes were ruined at that point, and now she doesn't want to talk to me. Am I the asshole for overthinking and believing that she had given me HSV2 and or for thinking she was ghosting me? Or did I self-sabotage the situation for the betterment of my dating pool? I feel sad because if I hadn't said anything, I could have just gotten tested and we could have continued to take things slow. I'd really love to get back with her because she's amazing, but at the end of the day, I don't want herpes. In reality, the pain I thought was HSV2 was due to a small cut that had formed on the tip of my dick from masturbating after she would leave / when she wasn't around because we weren't having sex and I would be hard all night. Signed, Big Dumb Idiot Probably.
Am I going to hell for laughing?
No.
Like, so many things about this are weird. Like, your excuse for sending an unhinged voice memo is that you were highly caffeinated.
Like you were on a meth bender.
You guys,
Okay.
sorry. I had a super big Red Bull and got lit as fuck. Sorry for that voice memo.
This is something I always start out with. You're a real person and your concerns and it would be so easy if I wrote like several paragraphs about my life, about something I was confused about. It would be so easy to roast it. So just
Same.
because we're gonna like roast and point out the problems in your thinking in no way means that you're like a bad, terrible, irredeemable, cringe person. It just means that like these are always easy to roast, but we are going to like not hold back, and that's why you wrote into this particular podcast and not like a nicer one. Okay.
Sunny love. I know I came in with the heat. You're probably delightful.
The caffeine bender is so funny to me too, but also as soon as I thought of that, I was like, who hasn't been there? Like when I'm over caffeinated, I am like I have posted so many like thirst traps while I was like really caffeinated the fuck up, and then I look back on them like later in the day when I'm on a caffeine crash and I'm like, that was not what you thought it was, girl.
You know what? I guess I get a little bit paranoid zoomies, so I can see that. Like, if you are caffeinated, you maybe start overthinking. Mm-hmm. I can see that, but I do think that is a little hilarious.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Okay. I also looked up some statistics to answer this question because I wanted to do a good job. Because when I first read this, my first thought was, you were concerned about getting HSV1, bro, fucking everybody has HSV2. And then you were concerned you were experiencing early symptoms of, everyone has HSV1, sorry. Then you were concerned you were getting early symptoms of HSV2. And I'm like, bro, lots of people have HSV2. And also, like, the symptoms are not what you think they are. They, like, most people don't have symptoms when they have it.
Okay.
And this is true. Okay, so let me report my statistics.
Yeah.
67% of the global population has HSV 1 or 2. Most people do not know that they have it. Genital herpes occurs in 13% of the global population, which is like a lot.
Holy shit.
In the US, 48% of the population have HSV1, whereas 12% have HSV2. Okay. HSV2 infection is more common in women than in men. This may be because male to female transmission is easier than female to male transmission. So it's also like unlikely that she would give it to you, especially through a fucking condom. And between 75% and 90% of people with genital herpes aren't even aware that they're infected with the virus, as they never develop visible herpes sores or any sort of symptoms. And I know this because I know someone who worked at Planned Parenthood, and they were talking about like how we need to destigmatize herpes because it's literally so common, like literally fucking everybody has it. And
No way.
They were saying that like they don't actually recommend that people get HSV1 testing to start with because it's a waste of resources because over half the people fucking have it, and they don't think it's important. Like they literally say that if you have HSV2 and you're treated and you don't have an active wart, they do not feel that is like civically extremely important for you to inform all of your partners. They're like, we leave it up to personal discretion. So like the fact that she even knew she had it means she's incredibly responsible and getting tested all the time. The fact that she informed you of it is also like the real thing that gets me is like, how many people have you fucked who have had it and just not known or not told you? I guarantee you. But she had it, she knew about it, and she told you, which really speaks to her like responsibility. And then you made the educated decision to have sex with her with protection, which I think is also a smart, educated decision. I don't think that you should like not have sex with someone with herpes too, you know? And then you should not have fucking said anything about it.
Didn't he send like 5, or they?
Yeah.
Didn't they send like 5 messages?
Yeah, he was like sending a bunch of texts like, are you ghosting me?
Yeah, that would flip me out. I understand, like, you probably are going through shock. But if I'm a girl and there's this guy I'm just barely seeing and I get my phone blown up over the weekend, I'm like, this person is, like, controlling. That's a turnoff.
And I was like responsible enough and vulnerable enough to share with you this fact about me, and now it feels like you are like specifically throwing it back at me at a time where it's like irrelevant. It's like she already told you, so at that point there is no reason that you should like inform her of like you should just go get tested if it's extremely important to you. But also like you should not be scared to get HSV2. It's extremely likely that it will happen to you. Cause you're fucking around.
He fucked around.
I mean, I guess it's like not as likely if you were a woman who was fucking around. It would be extremely likely that you would get HSV2 at some point in your life. You should not be this scared of it. This stigma is only going to come to like induce self-hatred if something like that does happen to you. You definitely need to be chill about this because it's karma.
Yeah, and then there's me, and I'm from Utah, so my sex education is just don't.
Also, are you sure you don't have HSV2? Because the most logical time to get tested, you didn't go, like, oh, wait, yes, you did get tested and it was not that.
Well, congrats. That's good.
Also, like, I guarantee you, if you do get HSV2, you will not find out because you have a pain that is similar to a small cut from masturbating. That will not be the experience. You most likely won't even ever get symptoms. But if you do, well, it will be a sore.
You know what? I'll just say that I'm glad you told us and not a Reddit thread, because I feel like the advice you might have gotten on Reddit would have been dangerous.
So true. They'd be like, fuck that swat.
Yeah. You would have gotten the incels on 4chan.
So I will say, yes, you messed up. This is not irredeemable, but I can understand why she wouldn't want to go on any more dates with you and she wouldn't want to talk to you anymore. This is a learning experience.
Yeah, you learned, and I wouldn't reach out to her again. There are other fish in the sea. You just probably shouldn't try to go meet that fish again.
You don't necessarily need to apologize because a lot of times apologies are for us more than they are for the person that we wronged.
Yeah,
because
that
it
might
just
weird
like
her out.
pushes you back into her life. So just like say, oh, I learned something here.
Yeah.
But also like look up a lot of these stats because the going understanding of herpes is that like it's extraordinarily common and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And like STIs are a big deal. You should get tested. You should be responsible. But herpes is just like not one of them that you should be worried about. You should be worried about chlamydia and syphilis and shit like that.
Damn. I learned just as much as everybody else did today. This is great.
Thank you. I did so much research for that. No, it was one Google search.
Ooh. Man, I wish you would have pulled over and just did some Googling before you sent this girl a voice memo, but you learned.
Yeah. And who amongst us has not been in that position where you think you're getting ghosted and so you like send the out of pocket text, especially if it's like a person from an app or a person you're not like in a friend group with them, so you won't have to.
We need an unsend button on iMessage.
This person can fuck out of my life. And so you're just like send something that you don't necessarily stand behind. I've been there. But yeah, be careful because herpes is highly stigmatized and you don't want to be a part of why that is. Great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tyler, what do you want to plug? Where can people find you?
So you can find my podcast, The Almond Pod, on Spotify and Apple. And then you can just find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at Tyler Benderr, Benderr with 2 R's.
Yeah. And you can find me at Hannah Jones Cool on all of the platforms. Ask questions for the podcast. Subscribe to the Patreon. Thank you so much for tuning in.